Ladies and gentlemen, let me paint a small picture for you guys. Imagine a young boy in a dusty rural village in northern Namibia. Every afternoon after school, he walks home. He drops his bag and he starts fixing old radios for his neighbors. He uses bottle caps, wires, and imagination to make them work again. In his community, he's a problem solver, but in school, he's failing. He's told he's not smart enough because he can't memorize the periodic table or explain osmosis. So he starts believing he has no future. But what if? What if this young boy is the exact kind of mind Namibia needs to rebuild its future? What if he's an innovator, just one that our system hasn't learned to recognize yet? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Leonard Stefanus, a data scientist in training, a village boy by nature, and an innovator as well. And with today's Tech Talk titled Beyond the Classroom, Unlocking Namibia's Hidden Innovators, I aim to question the very system that has us sitting in this room today, which is our education system, about how effective is it? Is it really as inclusive as we claim it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the system that we build, the picture before you, imagine 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, and this is the picture that you see. The faces, the expressions of our learners that you see within the classroom. 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. Where is the energy? Where is the enthusiasm? And this is the system that we have built. Rather, the system that we have imported, that we have adapted to. And Namibia's fight against poverty isn't only about income. It's about access and opportunity. Because too many of our young Namibians are trapped in a system that measures intelligence narrowly through textbooks, exams, and memorization. We produce academically literate individuals, but not necessarily creators, innovators, or problem solvers. And this is caused by the system that we have adapted, that we have imported, rather. And ladies and gentlemen, I am not against our education system. Because if it wasn't for that same system, I would not be standing before you today as an aspiring data scientist. So give our education system a big round of applause. But we have imported this education system that values exams over innovation. What if we give innovation a chance? Education should open minds and not close them. That is a simple quote. To many people, it is a simple quote. But to me, this quote resonates deeply. Because that's what education is supposed to do. It's supposed to open minds and not close them. As Nelson Mandela once said, that education is the biggest investment you can make on your future. But those faces that I showed you right there, what type of investment are they doing on their future if they are looking like that 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, no enthusiasm, no energy? We need an education system that's inclusive, that values innovation, creativity, and practical skills just as much as it does with grades. Let me give you another typical example of what inclusivity can do, or having your ideas heard can do for a human. Let me say you are a young boy or a husband going shopping with your wife, and you come to this section, the fruit and vegetable section, and your wife or your mother is busy picking tomatoes, and you are standing watching, and you take a tomato, you give it to your mother, she looks at it, it's not good, she puts it down. But later on, she takes that same tomato and puts it in. You're wondering, what just happened? But imagine you take that tomato, you give it to your mother or your wife, and she puts it in the plastic. You'll move back and be like, wow, She actually put it in. And to say later on that day you go home, she prepares a meal, she prepares a stew with that same tomato. And let me say I get a call that same day that my mother took the tomato that I chose for her. And you call me. I would even pick up the phone and tell you, you know what, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back. But that's the exact moment I'm in the bathroom, answering nature's call. But I feel like a CEO. Why? Because my idea was heard. I feel like I was heard. And at the dinner table, I would say, you know what, Mom, today I'm praying. And I'm going to pray that God bless that tomato that I chose that day. After the prayer, I would even look at the stew and look at my siblings and be like, can you guys see the tomato? I'm the one who chose it. So that's what inclusivity is about. So if we can look at our young Namibians to say that, yes, we see you and we hear you. That boy fixing radios, he's not a dropout. He's a technician in training. That girl designing beadwork, she's a future product designer. That child solving community problems, an innovator in disguise. Ladies and gentlemen, my idea is simple. Namibia must and should embrace multiple forms of intelligence. We need an education system that goes beyond the classroom. Namibia's hidden innovators. Who are our hidden innovators? As I've alluded to earlier, that boy fixing radios in his community, those are our hidden innovators. That girl designing beadwork, she's our hidden innovator. If we can embrace them and give them the platform to be heard and to be seen, ladies and gentlemen, together we can rewrite tomorrow. Because tomorrow starts with the people that we have today. Those expressions I showed you in the picture earlier has to be turned into smile and enthusiasm. We can't have our young Namibians 7 a.m. on a Monday morning looking like they just came from herding cattle. No offense to those of us from the village, because that's what we do. Sunday we are herding cattle, Monday we are in class. And that's why we need to adapt a new education model, one that does not have to have me sitting in the class memorizing periodic tables. That boy who can repair a water pump, he's told to focus on physics, when in truth, physics already lives in his hands. Why not use what he has, the physics that's in his hands, instead of asking him to memorize a textbook and sit for an exam? Transformation through discovery. Another beautiful quote underneath here, which says, when education becomes about discovery, not just discipline, something magical happens. I repeat, when education becomes about discovery, not just discipline, something magical happens. Because what happens? Learners stop asking, what do I need to study to pass? And they start asking an important question to say, what can I learn to change my world? They stop asking, what should I study to pass? And start asking, what can I learn to change my world? And teachers become mentors. Communities become classrooms. And schools become spaces of innovation and not fear. Because the schools we've built today are places of fear, are places where our learners go to say, I did not do my homework, I know I'm going to get a hiding from the teacher. Those are the schools that we have built on an imported system. Our young innovators are already here. Or per se, our hidden innovators are already here. They only need 3 things, and they are listed down here. They need recognition, opportunity, and belief. And where does that start? That starts inside the classroom. Innovation has to start inside the classroom, because that's where our learners go to learn, to create, and to embrace who they are. A school should be a place where I go discover my identity, not another place for me to go find an identity crisis. Why? Because I cannot perform in the top 10s because my name never appears in the top 10s. I go back home. What do I get? It's a scolding from my mother that all you do is spend the whole day fixing radios. Why can we not invest in my technical ability? Why should education be about what I can memorize and not about what I can do? Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our young Namibians the recognition they need, the opportunity they need, and the belief that they need. And hence, we can achieve the theme that we have today, which is rewriting tomorrow. Because Namibia's future isn't waiting to be imported. It's right here with us, and it's in our classrooms, it's in our villages, and it's all around us. Ladies and gentlemen, let us recognize our young Namibians. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot was said throughout this presentation by myself. I've said quite a lot. But if there's one thing that I want to leave you with today, or one thing that you should remember or take note from the talk, is that if we learn to see every Namibian child, not for what they lack, but for what they can create, then together we can rewrite tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Leonard Stefanus, and that was my tech talk. Thank you very much.